What is up, you all? We are back with another video. So moments ago, we just got the Final Destination Bloodlines trailer, one of my most anticipated movies of this year. We're going to talk about what we've seen and do a deep dive. Before we get into it, definitely smash the like button because it definitely helps, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So it was a lot going on in this trailer. I want to start off by saying I love this trailer. I love the music, everything, the build up, everything they were just trying to show us in this trailer to make us get prepared for this movie. They did such a great job. So to get into it, like I've been telling you all, with Final Destination Bloodlines is going to be something that's connected to the past and everything with family and bloodline. Now, we know it's only technically 2 survivors that survived in this franchise for real, is Thomas Burke and Kimberly. Now, depending on the viewer, some people think that, you know, with everything that happened with the Final Destination 3 DVD, the extras or whatever, and it said on the DVD, basically in this newspaper article, that they died in a bizarre accident. Now, it depends on how you want to take it. Some people think it's canon. Some people think that it was just, you know, something that was just put on DVDs. All I'm going to say is I have a feeling that they're actually still alive in this franchise, Kimberly and Thomas Burke. But I can be wrong. I'm going to leave that up to you all. I think it will be crazy to see, you know, them, well, especially Kimberly, cameo in Final Destination Bloodlines. But pushing forward, we see at a point that a lot of things started building up to reveal this crazy, you know, death. And we see something happen in the backyard of our friends with a sharp piece of glass that's floating in ice. We see like a trampoline accident, a lawnmower accident. Everything just feels like the old early 2000s Final Destination movies. That's one thing I will say that I really enjoyed. It really felt authentic. Now, pushing forward, we did get some cameos of William Bloodworth in this trailer, played by the one and only Todd, rest his soul. I think his scenes were amazing, and it definitely gave me, you know, the chills. And he says something in one of these scenes that is very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. He's talking about embracing death and everything, the only way you can get past it. And I just can't wait to see how this plays out, because I have a feeling I know how this is going to play out. So we see one of the characters, Stephanie, actually talking to her grandmother about everything that happened in the past with her premonition and things like that. And her grandmother actually tells her everything that happened. Now, this premonition that took place was on like a tower, a stratosphere or something like that. And it was a lot going on, and it ended up catching fire and people were falling off. We get a crazy piano scene, but in this, it shows how she cheated death, because originally the grandmother was supposed to die in that fire, but since she ended up cheating death and getting through all this in this situation, it ended up getting passed down through her bloodline. So anybody that has the grandmother's bloodline is going after them. Now, pushing forward, I think that the grandmother's premonition is definitely involved and connected to Alex, Kimberly, Nick, and Wendy. I think that it definitely is going to be connected to those premonitions and everything. Is the cause of a lot of things. I think it started with the grandma. Everything ends up dominoing through her, but I think that's going to be revealed in Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, pushing forward, we also see that it seems to be that the grandmother was actually documenting a lot of the deaths in the Final Destination situations, now which I think is going to actually try to help these friends and family get through this situation and beat death. So it seems that she's going to try to teach her granddaughter to beat death, which is Stephanie, which I think that everything that we're seeing in this trailer, we're going to get more once we see the film. And we also see the guy who was in a tattoo parlor. His name was Eric. We saw that he was possibly going to die. It was a brutal scene. His nose ring was caught on a chain, but we see at the end of this trailer that he actually gets hit by a car. So I don't know if it's like something where he's gonna get different types of death being brought to his vision, where it's like kind of just foreshadowing a lot of his deaths, or they're just putting that in there to confuse us. But it seems like he has 2 ways he could potentially check out. Now, Charlie, he comes from the the Chucky TV series. It seems to be that he's going to be related to Stephanie. They're sharing the same grandmother, so they're both in trouble from my knowledge. But like I said, pushing forward, it's a lot going on, and I think that's going back to the past Final Destination movies, especially everything with Kimberly and Thomas Burke. I think it's going to be a lot of stuff revealed, but I can be wrong. I have heard some crazy rumors, but they're just rumors. Now, pushing forward, I liked what I saw when it came to the deaths. They looked very creative. I love the lawnmower scene. I love that piano kind of just charging at the woman off the tower, and then everything's on fire. But we do, once again, like I said, we get that flashback of the grandmother kind of explaining everything and saying that basically everything is happening the way it is because I cheated death back in the day, and now it's coming to the kids and her grandkids and everything front line, which makes sense, and that's why it's called Bloodlines. This is something I've been telling you all for a while. I think they're going to go back and try to connect a lot of the dots to make this, you know, actually possibly get brought into a trilogy. The way it's shot in the trailer and the things that we're seeing, especially the thing that Todd said, I think that it is going to be something that's really brought to us front line, and a lot of things are going to connect to Alex, Wendy, Kimberly, Nick. I think a lot of things are going to connect to them to give us more details on everything in the past. And once again, if you look at this like book that she's showing Stephanie on how to, you know, beat death, it's showing a lot of the highlighted deaths from the past Final Destination movies. Like the grandmother has been documented because she's obviously aware of everything that's going on and how she cheated death and how she's seeing this pattern take place. So I'm pretty sure with everything they're showing us, they're possibly going to give us another trailer. I don't know, because I will say this, with a movie like Final Destination, they're going to definitely do some like unique marketing and things like that. But this is one of my top most anticipated movies of the year. I love the Final Destination movies, and this one just made me so happy because it definitely has that 2000s feel, and it's so cool to see the man himself, Tony Todd, aka William Bloodworth, from here, and just having that creepy voice and just kind of getting us back in that zone for Final Destination. So it looks like this is going to surround mainly Stephanie and possibly Charlie. It seems like the Eric character, he's going to be more on the side, for real, for real. And we even saw in that tattoo parlor with everything where his dad passed away, and he had his dad tattooed on him, and it kind of dominoed to him with everything going on with the chain on his nose. So it's kind of seemed like it's trying to show him a warning, and then maybe at the real point where he's about to die, he gets hit by the vehicle, or it's just maybe it's like that with the tattoo scene. Either way, which scene do you think is really his death, or do you think he's even going to die? So like I said, there's a lot going on with this, and I'm so happy they're going back to everything how it started in the first one. But I know a lot of y'all have been talking about everything about Thomas Burke and Kimberly. Is their death canon? Is it not canon? I mean, I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. I do think a lot of stuff is going to happen in Final Destination Bloodlines, but comment down below how you all feel about everything you saw in the trailer, and are you excited for this coming out this May? So unfortunately, this is the end of this video. I want y'all to hit me up on all my social medias at ILIKESCARY, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.